Imagine you're sitting upstairs on a double-decker bus heading through southeast London. You're riding the 21 to Caledonian Road down through the Old Kent Road, just approaching the Bricklayers Arms roundabout. The bus begins to pull to the left and slows down towards a nondescript bus stop before coming to a complete stop. You look down over your shoulder. There's commuters hopping on and hopping off of the bus, though something grabs your eye. A box. From atop the bus stop shelter, a sun-faded face looks back up at you. Dozens of nails spike a pale, white bald head, and a pair of deep black eyes peer deep into your soul. You're staring at Pinhead from the 1987 horror film Hellraiser, and a VHS copy of the movie is mysteriously lying on top of the bus stop. A few days go by, but you can't seem to get that image of Pinhead out of your mind. You're back on the 21, approaching the same bus stop. You make sure to catch a glimpse of the VHS cassette above the shelter, only this time, there's not just one copy of Hellraiser. More copies of the exact same movie have appeared. This ongoing ritual of videotapes appearing and disappearing has haunted this bus stop for over 10 years now, and no one can quite figure out why. So I've been following this phenomena for quite a while now, and so have loads of others across social media. For this video I researched and compiled a spreadsheet documenting the chronology of the Hellraiser cassette tapes, the appearances and the disappearances on top of the bus stop shelter. The data in this spreadsheet will be used to support the claims made throughout the video. And on a quick note, I had a bit of a cold when I was recording the dialogue for this particular video, so it might sound a little off compared to how it usually sounds. But I couldn't pass up the opportunity to make a video about such an interesting topic. So with that said, let's get to the video. It's late 1986 and a house on Dollars Hill Lane in northwest London is being used as the primary setting for the movie Hellraiser. Liverpudlian author Clive Barker is directing an adaptation of his novella The Hellbound Heart. This is to be his first full-length feature film as a director. The house today has changed much since shooting almost 4 decades ago, though the street remains an ordinary quiet suburban row of moderate to large-sized houses overlooking the verdant Gladstone Park. Very, very different from the aforementioned Old Kent Road. Though Hellraiser is a horror film exploring themes around lust, the occult, resurrection, and sadism, the script seems more akin to a domestic drama, delving into ideas about family bonds, vengeance, and infidelity. Funded with American money from the now defunct production company New World Pictures, the film starred a mix of British and American actors and was distributed by the London-based company Entertainment Film. Some actors' lines were even dubbed with American accents, such as the removal men, and the neighbours who come for dinner are also American. Yet inside of 187 Dollars Hill, which was used for the interior scenes instead of sound stages in order to save money, it is distinctly middle-class England, a 1930s Edwardian property meant to house the nuclear family. This mixing of US and UK gives the film this kind of strange, cross-cultured, peculiar sense of domestic life, where something always feels a little off, like we're watching somebody else's dream. One of my personal favourites, the film was a success at the box office, taking $14 million against its modest $1 million budget. A year later, in 1988, Hellraiser would see its first home video release, Pinhead adorning the now iconic cover. And it is this image that would gaze upon hundreds of daily commuters from atop a bus stop on the Old Kent Road. It all started on October 17th, 2011, with an inconspicuous post on Twitter, now X, saying, "If anyone fancies watching Hellraiser on VHS, there's a copy on top of a bus stop on the Old Kent Road." A dim, murky image shows a single VHS cassette, face up, laying on top of the Bricklayers Arms / East Street bus stop. A month and a half later, a second tweet read, "Just saw a VHS copy of Hellraiser on top of a bus stop on Old Kent Road." Then, the following May, "Look at this knackered old Hellraiser sitting on top of a bus stop. Sad." People start to notice. Tweets slowly drop in reporting the sighting of the lone VHS tape. We get a minor update reporting that the plastic cover of the VHS copy of Hellraiser on the Old Kent Road bus stop roof has come open, revealing the Hellraiser 2 advert inside. August 15th, 2013, a second VHS copy of Hellraiser appears atop the bus stop shelter, joining its colour-faded partner. The two tapes corroborated by multiple sightings. Over the next few months, things start to spiral out of control. A third copy of Hellraiser appears alongside the movies Toy Story and Jack, though those two movies quickly do vanish. By November 2014, there's now approximately 7 copies of Hellraiser, impious deities gathered at the Bricklayers Arms. Slowly, over the next few months, just as quickly as they appeared, the tapes begin to gradually disappear, mysteriously vanishing one by one, until we are back down to a single cassette tape. And then one day in December 2015, we drop to 0. No tapes, no Hellraiser, and no Pinhead. Copycat portals start to turn up, one a few miles north in Newington Green in Hackney, and another all the way down in Brighton. The next few years see multiple copies of Hellraiser 3 appear on top of the bus stop. They themselves disappear, seemingly appearing and vanishing at random, leaving behind traces of where they once laid. This ritual is performed over and over until sometime between May 2019 and February 2020, when once again all of the tapes disappear. Fast forward to July 2021, and the entire TFL bus shelter has now been replaced. It takes only a few days before Pinhead appears to us again. An Arrow Films DVD edition of the movie turns up at some point, but this is to be outdone by what is to follow. In May of 2024, almost 37 years after the film's release, a configuration is formed atop the shelter. The portal has been opened. The original film, the second installment Hellbound, the third Hell on Earth, and the fourth film, Bloodline, all sit together. VHS cassettes summoned into a formal diamond shape. Pinhead, throughout the years, always looking out from beyond the cover and into our world. So naturally, we have to ask ourselves, who or what is doing this? I'm sure that for many commuters, sitting on the top deck of the bus who looked down and saw the Hellraiser videotape, it stirred in their memories of yesteryear, of being in a video rental store, browsing the horror movies and coming across Hellraiser, the image of Pinhead on the cover staring back at us. I myself remember seeing the movie in Blockbuster, the huge red BBFC 18 certificate being worn almost as a badge of honour, a seal of approval of the film's nastiness, and thinking that what I was holding was almost something illicit. There was something about Hellraiser's cover that set it apart from other mainstream horror movies at the time. I'm not sure what it was, but there was something almost reserved or tasteful about its cover photography in comparison to many other horror movies at the time. A quick note on the cover photograph here, that in the movies Pinhead's eyes are jet black, a demonic gaze. However, on the cover of the first film, Doug Bradley, the actor who plays Pinhead, didn't actually wear his corneal black contact lenses for the shoot, so we get to see Pinhead's irises for the first and only time, giving his face a more human, relatable form. When the movie was sitting on a shelf side by side with American films in the video rental store, it felt as though the film's weird sense of Britishness was almost shining through. I can only imagine that the person carrying out the ritual on the roof of the bus shelter felt the same way. We've spoke previously about the Old Kent Road, 2 miles of oversized supermarkets, chicken shops and traffic, a little bit of LA in London. An odd choice of location for the appearing and disappearing of tapes. Until 2009, a pub named The World Upside Down stood opposite the bus stop. Its neon sign, which solely read The World, would illuminate commuters waiting in the cold nights for the N21 to Charing Cross. 2 years later, the first copy of Hellraiser would appear. The portal to a very different world opened for the very first time. Now, the mystery of who was doing this was actually solved all the way back in 2014, but all of our questions were not answered. After the Hellraiser bus stop was mentioned in a 2014 episode of Rabbit Holes on BBC Radio 4, an anonymous individual contacted the BBC, shedding some light on the situation. The unnamed person claimed to create visual art and use the everyday environment. They say they don't know why or how or when the very first cassette appeared, but they first noticed it whilst riding the 21 bus. The cyaned, degraded, weathered face of Pinhead was more horrifying than any pristine copy of the film ever could be. It seemed nearly alive. This person in question added their first cassette there on the 21st of December 2012, the night that was supposed to be the Mayan apocalypse. They mentioned that they have also maintained the upkeep of the cassettes right up until the date of this communication in 2014. They also state that both Toy Story and Jack were done by copycats. There's a real sense of folk art to the maintenance and process of it all, I feel, like something more akin to a contemporary urban legend. Now, the identity of the individual has, for the most part, been kept a secret, and they plan to keep it this way. A quick search on Twitter does provide a few answers to their identity, but I will stay true to their intentions and won't spoil that here. An air of mystery, whilst partially solved, does still linger to this day. The upkeep of the cassettes still maintained and preserved over 13 years later. Maybe someone has taken over the task of adding the VHS tapes to the roof, carrying on the tradition in the wake of the disappearances. Or maybe the original anonymous individual is no longer around to keep a watchful eye over the bus stop. Copies thus raising themselves from the realm of the Leviathan. So next time that you're on the 21 bus, sitting on the top, riding northwest into the city, take a look down over your shoulder and witness the portal to another world opening up along the Old Kent Road. So that was the video. Thank you for watching. It's now my 4th upload. I would like to also say thank you for all of the lovely comments that were left on the previous video, which explored Depeche Mode fandom in post-Soviet Russia. It really means a lot to me to receive this feedback. So remember, as always, if you like the video, feel free to like it, leave a comment or share it with your friends. All of this interaction really helps my channel grow. I think there should also be a super chat option enabled below by now. I think I've hit that milestone, so feel free to maybe leave something there if you'd like. That would also really help. Thank you. And with that said, thank you again, and I will see you all real soon.